Every road has its challenges. We say, bring them on. Rise to the challenge with the rugged performance of the Honda Ridgeline, Pilot, and CR-V.
Advantage, and as you mentioned, Pam, LA is without the services of both Chene and Nneka Ogwumike.
First team foul. All right, let me say this.
Quigley called for the foul. Audience who just saw Las Vegas in a thrilling game beat Washington by 3. Pam Ward along with LaChina Robinson joining you from Los Angeles for the Sparks and the Chicago Sky. And the Shields just a little bit slow getting up. Nice buckets by the Shields and Dolson for Chicago. Taya Cooper has all 5 points for LA. Shields and Zowie B getting ready to tip things off. Allie Quigley back in the lineup for Chicago along with Stephanie Dolson. There's Quigley. That was an ambitious pass that did not hit the mark.
And that is one of the keys for this ball game for Chicago. They have to limit their turnovers. They have been the Achilles heel in this losing streak. And then LA is a team that likes to force turnovers. Their identity is the defensive end. They scored 22 points a game off their pressure.
Chicago trying to snap a 4-game losing streak. Nice off-balance shot by Erica Wheeler, a heralded undrafted player that came into her own in Indiana, became the All-Star MVP a couple of years ago. Inside, Dolson can't get to that pass either.
You see Chicago really moving Allie Quigley off of those ball screens. They have had a drought on the three-point line. They need to open up the offensive end. Well, Allie Quigley is the player to do it. They'll run her off screens, and LA chasing her early.
Quigley missing time with a hurt hamstring back in the starting lineup. Vandersloot with the block.
Ball knocked out of bounds, last touch by the Sky. Still Sparks ball.
Who says you got to be tall to block shots? Courtney Vandersloot said, get that out of here.
Vandersloot actually leading the league early in the season with 2 steals per game, but that was an emphatic block. And then a foul as Cooper drew it, getting to the line, and that is one of the things that Coach Derek Fisher wanted to see from his team, taking advantage of those lanes, drawing fouls, and doing so. Fish in his 3rd year in charge of LA.
Yeah, for a team that's small and explosive in the backcourt and quick, LA doesn't get to the free throw line enough. I mean, he wants them to finish better at the rim, of course, but also they should be getting to the line more, but that would require them to be disciplined and not take as many jump shots as they do, but instead using their speed.
Last foul on Vandersloot. Here is Taya Cooper. Taken in the 2nd round by Phoenix a couple years, was cut, then signed by LA and had herself a nice season.
Coming off of 2 of her better performances in the last 2 games is Cooper, and the key is she has gotten to that charity stripe and finished better at the rim.
Taking care of some blood on the floor right now. That is the reason for the delay. And to the left of your screen, you might notice a familiar face, or at least a familiar back. Yes, that's Simone Augustus, who was an assistant coach for the Sparks.
Yes, retiring, the future Hall of Famer. Started the next phase of her career on the sidelines. It's just weird to see her over there, you know? Like,
yes.
Put on your jersey, Mo.
I think she could still ball a little bit. Delivering at the line. 6-0 run now for the Sparks, who are trying to beat Chicago for the 3rd time this season. Yep, they've already played twice. Quigley off the screen, can't get it to go. Nia Coffey coming up with the rebound. Coffey with a nice expanded role this year for LA, number 12 in purple. Kirsty Tolliver still got it.
And that was from the hash mark, so it could be a long afternoon for the Chicago Sky if they don't guard Tolliver.
Tolliver now 11 of 22, 50% from 3 on the season. Her second stop in LA after some years in Washington where she won a championship.
I mean, Pam, this is how you tell everyone you're ready to play.
That's her first personal foul.
Got the feet squared from the Staples Center logo. That is the hallmark of Kristi Tolliver back in LA after her departure, winning a championship in DC.
Did not play last year. It's one of several players who opted out. Vandersloot now at the line after Cooper fouled her. Vandersloot coming off an historic season, the first player in the history of the league to average 10 assists per game.
And it's been a challenging season for the Chicago Sky team. I mean, not only missing Candace Parker, but Allie Quigley for an extent with injury. We mentioned Dolson, just a lot of moving pieces, roster changes. A team that came in with high expectations. And Courtney Vandersloot has had her fair share of struggles as well with turnovers.
Zawibi over Dolson.
Amanda Zawibi fits in so well with this lineup of small guards that can drive. She can pick and pop. She can step out and shoot from long range. And she's a good rebounder as well. Another turnover by the Sky.
Sky been trying to get things in the paint. That's the third time they've thrown it away down there. Quigley back in the lineup, as you mentioned, one of players who missed several games. In fact, missed 6 games with a hurt hamstring. Came off the bench in their last game against Phoenix, where she hit a couple of threes. Chicago has had some heartbreaking losses during this 4-game losing streak. It's a 6-game losing streak for Chicago after they started 2-0. Quigley gets subbed out.
Replacing Quigley.
You can feel just the frustration from the Chicago Sky team and their press conferences and us talking to them as well. I mean, they are ready to get on the winning streak, and in particular because of the way they lost late games, often having a double-digit lead.
That is what makes it particularly frustrating, not finishing in the final minutes. Ruthie Hebert, 24 in white for the Sky, has checked in. It's a really good rebound.
And Stu Dufall has been one of the players for Chicago that has filled in the absence of Stephanie Dolson, along with Ruthie Hebert, who has done a nice job. And another turnover trying to get the ball to the post.
There's 4 turnovers down there. Candace Parker not available for the 8th straight game for Chicago. We are all looking forward to her homecoming here in LA. She is here in the building. But Candace turned an ankle and has not been able to play. She's disappointed that she couldn't play here in LA. Tolliver from the turnaround. Vandersloot. Cooper got a little aggressive, and then Sloot with the nice pass over to Hebert, who couldn't finish, and then she took down Zawibi.
A little frustration foul there by Ruthie Hebert. But a welcome sign for the Sparks fans. They've seen it before. KT for 3.
The WNBA on ABC is presented by Google, official WNBA changemaker and proud advocate of women in sports. In part by State Farm. When you want the real deal, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And American Express. See all that you can expect when you're with Amex.
Here comes something incredible. Unbeatable cleaning, plus unbeatable gas mileage, all in the one and only Chevron with Techron. Care for your car. It's good to go.
You have to put your health and wellness first or you can't do anything else.
I'm living proof that WW works. I've lost 91 pounds.
I've lost 54 pounds on WW.
WW, weight loss that works, wellness that works. Summer's on us. First 4 months free.
Welcome back to ESPN's coverage of the WNBA, presented by lead over Chicago here in the first quarter. Time now to join the third member of our team. Let's go to Kim Adams.
Thank you, Pam. Well, you and LaChina were talking about some of those frustrating losses for Chicago. Well, in 3 of their last losses, 2 were in overtime. 1 was a 1-point loss on a half-court buzzer beater shot. And we talked to Coach James Wade, and he said coming into this game, they went back and watched the last 3 minutes and overtime periods of each of those last 3 games. And he said everyone is locked in. They are accountable. They know they're losing games that they didn't lose last year. So they're pointing out factors like spacing, timing on screens. But Coach Wade said we have to have a sense of urgency. We are not waiting for anyone to come back. We feel that we're good enough to be good and winning games right now.
Yeah, Tim, that's a great point. I mean, he said we're not waiting to win. We're not waiting for Candace Parker, just like we have been waiting for Allie Quigley and Stephanie Dolson. I mean, it doesn't matter who is or is not on the floor. When you have a late game lead, you expect to win.
The execution has been lacking. Some shot selection has been questioned, but they, as Kim mentioned, have been working on that. It's got to be frustrating. This is a team, as you said, with such high expectations. Started out 2-0, but they've lost 6 in a row, including 2 games to LA. Desiree Stevens going to check in for the Sky at the next whistle. Let's take a look at the upcoming WNBA national TV schedule. Coming up on CBS Sports Network on Tuesday, it's Dallas at Phoenix at 10 Eastern Time. Brittany Griner had another dunk the other day. And then on Wednesday on the same network, Indiana at Chicago. These games, go to NBA.com or visit the WNBA app.
I've been really impressed with the way Phoenix has played in the absence of Diana Taurasi, out with that sternum injury, but Skylar Diggins-Smith has been in takeover mode, and Brittany Griner, I mean, we had been waiting early in the season to see her get more aggressive, and 2 dunks already in the last few games doesn't tell the story. I don't know what does.
Chicago now has gone over 5 minutes without a field goal. They have more turnovers than field goals. James Wade, in his 3rd year, the head coach and the general manager of this team. He was the WNBA's Coach of the Year in 2019. And just trying to kind of get over this hump. He does have some players back now. They made a trade to get Dana Evans,
who was checked into the ball game, hoping to spare Courtney Vandersloot some minutes at that backup point guard spot, which we knew Chicago was looking to fill coming in.
And finally, the drought is over. Copper gets her first basket of the afternoon. They had gone 5 minutes and 40 seconds without a field goal. That's why they're down by a touchdown with 2.5 minutes left to go. And then a nice block by Dufall. Here's Diamond, acrobatic, but a little bit too strong. And then Desiree Stevens thought she was fouled, nothing called. And then quickly, that transition game that LA relishes. Bria Holmes with the finish.
Yeah, it looked like Diamond DeShields just took off too early, quite honestly, Pam. And then going the other way, LA Sparks, one of the fastest team when it comes to pace in the WNBA. Holmes gets it go.
Copper, 2 straight makes. Led this team in scoring 4 times in their 8 games this season. 6th year out of Rutgers.
I think Erica Wheeler heard you say Rutgers.
Yep. Represented on both sides of the ball.
Erica Wheeler so tough to guard, especially coming off a ball screen action, going downhill really quick with the crossover, and Dana Evans fouls her and lets her get the layup.
Wheeler's first season in Los Angeles.
One of the best stories in the WNBA in recent years, a player that went undrafted out of Rutgers, went and got a regular job for a couple years, finally got her shot in the WNBA, and was the first WNBA All-Star MVP was Wheeler. Just an unlikely story. Very inspirational.
Zowie B with a little bit overzealous with the defense. Whistle for that Personal foul for LA. The Sparks, we talk about Candace Parker not playing. The Sparks also shorthanded, down not one but two Agwumake's today.
Yeah, which means that, you know, LA is really going to have to put a lot of emphasis on speeding the game up so that Chicago doesn't take advantage of their size on the inside and the rebounding, the energy that you get from Shanae and Nneka. Not to mention the leadership, but the Sparks can't focus on all of they would lose without the two of them. They've got to play with what they've got.
Yeah, Agwumake, I think, could be a synonym for hustle and heart. Both of them. Different personalities, but their games are very similar when they're out on the floor, that's for sure, with their effort. Evans just picked up her second foul. Dana Evans was the first pick of the second round by Dallas, and then just a couple of days ago was traded here to Chicago for some draft picks. Shyla Heal, the Aussie, went to Dallas, who was then immediately waived. Here's Coffee at the line.
Yeah, a move that caused a lot of discussion around the WNBA. Shyla Heal drafted in the first round, and as you mentioned, got traded to Dallas and then ultimately waived. But Dana Evans went in the second round of the WNBA, draft. I think most people would have thought she was a first rounder, and now she'll get an opportunity to prove it.
LA's largest lead of the game is 11 points. Evans was such a dynamic scorer and player at Louisville. Oh, Azurá Stevens working hard.
And rebounding is going to have to be the way that Chicago gets on the board right now. I mean, they look out of sorts on offense, and they're not really in a rhythm on that end of the floor. So you got to get to the glass. You got to do the little things. Try to get it off of your defense.
Durantes called for the foul that sends Stevens to the line. Fourth year in the league, Azurá has dealt with some injuries, including foot injury and knee injury last year that ended her season early. And Chicago shooting just 27% from the floor in the first quarter. Durantes the third Rutgers player we have in this game.
Bria Holmes keeping that one alive. She has been active, played really well against Indiana, and is bringing that energy over early in this one against Chicago today.
Quigley got it knocked away by Brittany Sykes, who apoplectic about that call. Thought she just got all ball. Sykes, another energy player for LA.
Top 5 in the WNBA in steals, uses those long arms and her wingspan so well. Probably the best undersized shot blocker in the WNBA. You don't want to get chased down by Sykes. And here are the defensive numbers for the Sparks. The most important thing, they average 22 points off of 22 forced turnovers per game. That is their offense.
That was Allie Quigley's first point of the game. Their three-point specialist has only taken one shot from the floor, and it was a 2. Stevens drawing more contact.
Again, offensive glass, good to Chicago. LA has got to get to bodies and box out, especially if you're going to play a smaller lineup.
Second quick foul on Sykes. See the offensive rebounds, +6 for Chicago. Quigley out, DeShields in for the last 5 seconds. Cooper got to hurry, gets it up. And that's the end of the first quarter. LA leading it 21-14.
Well, we know what the Sparks can do on the defensive end, but how about some offense? Taya Cooper hitting from outside, the drive from Erica Wheeler, small ball working for Derek Fisher's group early.
Watch my shoes, they clean. Tempo straight my feet. Rips in.
Every road has its challenges. We say, bring them on. Rise to the challenge with the rugged performance of the Honda Ridgeline, Pilot, and CR-V.
Should you go for unbeatable cleaning power or unbeatable gas mileage? Tough one, but why not both? unbeatable cleaning, and unbeatable mileage. Chevron with Techron. Care for your car. It's a popular choice.
Welcome back to Los Angeles, where the Sparks have opened up a 7-point lead, and we are honored to be joined right now by Candace Parker. And Candace, you just saw a nice tribute video for you there. After 13 years in the purple and gold, and watching that video coming back to LA, what sort of emotions have been stirred up in this return?
Well, definitely it's emotional. I think it's just great because of the relationships I've established. I mean, this is a home now. This is going to always be home, and you know, to just see everybody, to be back, and you know, not in Staples, but still, it's about the familiar faces for sure.
And just in your first season now, finally wearing that hometown city of Chicago across the jersey, what has that meant to you?
It's meant a lot. I think growing up, you know, you always dream of playing in front of people that have followed your career forever. And, you know, I think just being witness to D Rose and his ability to come home and play professionally for the Bulls, and, you know, D Wade going back to Chicago, I mean, it's definitely a dream of mine.
And WNBA in its 25th season, you've been part of a big bulk of that. Just what do you like about how the league has evolved and where it's at now?
So basically, you're just calling me old because you said I've been a part of a big bulk of the league.
No, a small fraction.
season. That's what we like to call it. No, you know, I think just to see the growth, the level of play, the level of competition, you know, the level of attention and visibility. I think just as a female athlete, I was 11 when the WNBA started, and to see where it is now, it brings tears to my eyes to see the growth of women's sports in general.
And your team is going through it a little bit right now. Why are you confident that this group...
Sorry.
No, you can switch to play-by-play.
That's what we're doing.
Cool with that. Why are you confident that this group can get back on track and you guys will still be a top contender in the W this season?
Adversity builds character. It reveals it as well. And I think we have a lot of character on this team. We have a lot of personalities that throughout all of this have still continued to maintain and have the energy and the effort and the focus. I think sometimes people let a little bit of that affect them and impact them, and it destroys teams, and we're not going to let that happen.
And last one, Candace, I know we're all, maybe everyone except your opponents, are looking forward to getting you back out there. Just how is the progress going on your ankle recovery?
The progress has been, you know, not as fast as I would like, but it's there. And, you know, honestly, I think for me, I just want to be back on the court. I want to be back playing, but I want to do so healthy. And I know when that happens, just best believe I'll be out there. The first moment I'm healthy, I'll be out there.
All right, well, we cannot wait for that. Thank you so much for taking some time, and enjoy your trip back to LA.
Come on, Diamond. All right, appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Candace Parker, missing her 8th game because of a hurt ankle, and in her 14th year out of Tennessee. This is a 25-year league, so yes, she has been around for more than half of the league's existence.
Hey, I thought she was going to cry during that tribute video. She was blinking a little bit when we got her on camera, but, you know, it just still seems surreal, you know, and kind of odd that Candace left LA the way she did. And but you understand, she wanted to go back home and be around her friends and family in the place where she grew up, and it was the next best move. And that's one thing about WNBA players, especially under the new CBA, is they're making the next best move for themselves and able to make a lot of different decisions and, you know, in their careers, in Candace Parker's case, the way they want to.
And it's really too bad she could not play today. This is the last time they'll play in the regular season. Maybe we'll see him in the playoffs.
Well, Chicago had started to ramp up their defense some while Candace Parker was on headset with us, and came out with some different energy on the defensive end that gave them a spark.
LA only had 1 turnover in the first quarter, then 3 in a row as Chicago has gotten back into this game. Hebert with that last bucket. In that first quarter, Chicago had 6 turnovers and only 4 made field goals. The team that is trying to work quickly back into the lineup. She'd missed 6 games with the hamstring. Stephanie Dolson with the Team USA 3-on-3 squad that will play in Tokyo this summer.
Right now, LA has a lineup on the floor where they can play 5 out and clear out the lane for drives. And Bria Holmes, once again, I mean, her energy so far early in this game has been really unmatched. Shot goes up, and Holmes just comes out of nowhere. No body on her, and that's important. Again, in this lineup, when LA can play 5 out, you still have to crash the glass. And we keep talking about the absence of the Ogumike sisters, who give you that energy. Well, Bria Holmes coming from the perimeter there at 6'1", providing some of that.
Ruthie Hebert fouled Holmes to get her to the free throw line. That's a couple of fouls on Hebert. Dana Evans has 3. And there are the Ogumike sisters. Chene over there on the left, also our ESPN colleague. And Nneka, boy, what a season she had to endure last year as the president of the Players Association, with everything going on in the bubble and social justice issues. Deserves a lot of credit, as to really everybody who was down there.
Yeah, she said that she feels like she can be more present with this team. And I'm saying, no kidding, with the number of meetings you were having last year with various things with the Players Association. I mean, what a leader she was for this league. Another second chance point there for Chicago.
Yep, Hebert that time cleaning up. Chicago's cut this lead all the way down to 3. It had been 11. Since Candace Parker came on with us, they've been getting some buckets. Timeout, LA up 3, CP talking to her people.
We're going to a dimension where I always win. Clank.
PlayStation. Every road has its challenges. We say, bring them on. Rise to the challenge with the rugged performance of the Honda Ridgeline, Pilot, and CR-V.
Welcome back. Chicago has made this a close game. Their defense this season has not been lacking.
Yeah, Sky defense has been what has led them this year. Coming off of last season where they were one of the most efficiently offensive teams in this league. James Wade wanted to focus on the defensive end, and they've done that. And he sat down and watched film with Diamond DeShields and Kalia Copper and really got them to buy into that end of the floor. And that's what's gotten them back in this game, is their ability to really play with their length, cover up space on the perimeter, force turnovers, and also on the glass. Their length has helped them as well with second chance points.
Defense has gotten better as LA has missed 7 of their last 9 shots during this stretch. Now 7 of their last 10. Wheeler ends that.
Well, Wheeler saves that offensive possession for LA. I'm not sure why Christy Tolliver, as good of a three-point shooter she is, hanging out amongst the trees. I would just stand outside the three-point line.
Yeah, she hit one from several feet beyond the three-point line back in the first quarter. Wow. Hebert with the little fadeaway.
Erica Wheeler has been able to get a piece of the paint at will. No one home on help defense for Chicago. That's got to be frustrating. We've seen that happen a couple times in the game. And then Ruthie Hebert is shaping up to be one of the best young post players in the WNBA. She works extremely hard. She's consistent with her energy, has good hands, just has a knack for the ball off the glass, and is excellent in pick and roll ball screen dives.
Wheeler at the free throw line after the foul by Vandersloot. Hebert in her second year out of Oregon. A couple of good games against LA earlier this season. LA trying to get the 3-game sweep over Chicago in the regular season. In this game, foul called on Christy Tolliver. He's going for the steal.
That's Tolliver's second foul. Keeping in mind, LA only has 9 available players and a shortened rotation.
Coffey gets the DeShields miss. And you see LA trying to run, but Chicago able to get back. Vandersloot looking for options, goes with Diamond, who hits it. Zowie B with the turnaround over DeShields.
Yeah, she had the height advantage, caught DeShields on the block. It's good to have Zowie B back in for LA as well as Quigley responds with the tray.
That is Quigley's first 3 of the afternoon. Second game back after the hamstring injury. Now Zowie B this time decides to go to the basket. Nifty move to rid herself of P-Bird.
Okay, footwork.
And Zowie B came out of the University of Minnesota early. Took her a while to get going. Taken second overall by Tulsa. Only averaged about 10 minutes a game. Then played 5 years in New York. But really starting to come into her own the last couple of seasons, and now starting.
Committed to better fitness, because Allie Quigley's in some trouble there. Amanda Zowie B showing her versatility, little turnaround jump shot in the face of Diamond DeShields, and then off with the drive. Oops, fake. Back to the right hand for the finish.
Zowie B had a season-high 17 points in an earlier game against Chicago this season, getting the chance as a starter.
Just improved her fitness, gotten much better shape. Always had the skill, but going overseas, can't say enough about how that plays into the development of players in this league, is that international style, them having to carry a different load, a heavier load for a lot of WNBA role players overseas. That helps with their development.
Zowie B certainly among those. Last foul on Diamond DeShields. Tolliver this time decides to pull up. Zowie B kept it alive. Great hustle, then tried to get it into Tolliver. And Quigley was able to take it away. Chicago on the move. Too much zip on that pass.
And those are the possessions that frustrate James Wade, or have to. I'm speaking on his behalf right now.
Yeah.
Because you have a team that can run a beautiful transition break, in particular with DeShields and Copper on the wings, and that's got to be 2 points.
10 turnovers now for Chicago, 4 of them in this quarter. LA only had 1 turnover in the first quarter, 5 here in the second, but Wheeler's able to get inside.
I mean, it's almost as though Chicago is saying, we're going to let Wheeler beat us. No one home on the help. I mean, that's a lot of respect for LA's three-point shooting.
Trying to roll it over to Hebert, and almost another turnover.
Erica Wheeler's always had a flair, dancing with the basketball here, right past Courtney Vandersloot.
Every road has its challenges. We say, bring them on. Rise to the challenge with the rugged performance of the Honda Ridgeline, Pilot, and CR-V.
We're going to a dimension where I always win. Clank.
PlayStation.
That me, ooh, ooh. We good, y'all, we good. We just gotta take care of the ball. We just gotta take care of the ball. We get 4 of them things, right? You get 6, 7, you got 4 more. You good.
Oh, yes. Diamond DeShields and Erica Wheeler wearing the mics. We thank them for agreeing to do that. They're giving us some entertaining stuff.
I mean, my favorite part is Sykes picks up 2 fouls, and Wheeler comes to console her. Hey, you get 6 a game? You only got 2, you get 4 more.
4 more.
We're all right, buddy.
Good. Vandersloot, good from the outside. That is her first basket of the afternoon. Does have 3 assists to go along with the 3 points. Coffee, that's a nice little turnaround.
And good patience, good interior passing by the Sparks.
Inside 2 minutes to go in the first half. Dolson back in the game. Rebound, Sykes out jumping to Shields.
If Stevens had a matchup with Wheeler on her back in the post.
Tolliver with a nice move, but couldn't get the shot to fall. Here's Sloot. Quigley, 3. And then Quigley fouls Sykes, who just grabbed the rebound. Get access to live games on your favorite devices when you sign up for League Pass. Head to leaguepass.wnba.com to sign up for your 7-day free trial. Don't miss a second of action during this historic 25th season. So you get it for free, very affordable after that to have access to each and every game.
And you are missing some incredible game-winning shots. Jewel Lloyd last night. Come on now.
Did it again.
Kia Nurse. I mean, there's going to be some competition for the Hamby Heave. If this was the playoffs,
that's right.
The Erica Shot would be in trouble because, boy, we've seen some incredible game-winning buckets and a lot of great action from the league so far.
Now, as we found out that last sound from Diamond DeShields, you do get 6 fouls, but Allie Quigley just picked up her 3rd. That is a big foul, and she heads to the bench for Chicago. Quigley with 6 points on the afternoon. Erica Wheeler, the only player in either squad with double figures, has 11. Zowie B just with a big block. Boy, man, is Zowie B coming to play. Wheeler working on DeShields, goes right by her. Doesn't get the basket, but another foul.
And it's good to see Erica Wheeler be smart about her offensive possessions. There's been times this year where she's settled for the jump shot. Not today. She has realized that off of the bounce, no one can guard her. And Chicago has not been there with bodies to take away that space, so Wheeler's going to get to the rim.
LA wanting to drive more in this game. That's already their 12th free throw attempt. Erica Wheeler, as you mentioned, just a terrific story. Undrafted, played pro ball in Puerto Rico, Turkey, Brazil.
She said it was a conversation with Bill Laimbeer during the 3 games she played for the New York Liberty, where he told her, I think you could stick on a WNBA roster. And she said that meant a lot to her. And she returned and got a long-term deal with the Indiana Fever and now is in LA.
Cooper. As LA has extended the lead out to 11 thanks to a 7-0 run after Chicago had chipped away at it. 11-point lead matches their biggest of the game, which came back in the first quarter. Sykes a little bit short. Good up and down action in this game. Copper. And then Zowie B getting her out on the perimeter. They're going to call that every time.
There's fast, and then there's LA Sparks fast. They go from defense to offense so quickly. And in this lineup with Taya Cooper, Erica Wheeler, Brittany Sykes, I mean, that is athletic, quick, all of the above, and they like to get out and run.
Just over 25 seconds left to go in the half. Erica Wheeler doing a lot of good stuff for the Sparks.
And again, it goes back to her shot selection. She can hit jump shots, but to me, Erica Wheeler is so quick when she's going downhill. Put pressure on Chicago to guard you. And she has absolutely done that so far today.
Kim Adams has more on Erica Wheeler.
Yeah, Pam, I mean, you guys have been talking about her journey. Well, it even started before she went pro. Her mother, Melissa Cooper, passed away from cervical cancer the summer before her senior year at Rutgers, and she just felt so lost. She went home to Miami. She wasn't even sure if she would come back for her senior year, and it was Vivian Stringer who literally went down to Miami and said, you need to finish this for your mother. So she came back to Rutgers, but you mentioned, you know, there weren't opportunities right after graduation. She finally went to Puerto Rico, was only making $200 a week, and then 2 years later got her shot in the W. But Erica Wheeler, just a story of persistence, and she has just continued to go on and on, Pam.
Well, she's a Florida kid, and she always brags about her hustler spirit, and she is that. If you know Erica Wheeler, she puts in a lot of work between the lines on the court in the marketing of who she is. And that All-Star MVP was so special. I mean, the tears that she cried in remembrance of her mother, as Kim mentioned, and how, you know, her mother would be so proud of what she's doing. It was an incredible moment.
Quigley put back in with the 3 personal fouls just for that reason, to try to get something from the outside. Doesn't fall, but the ball stays with Chicago.
And I always like to give a little bit of love to Vivian Stringer as we're watching Erica Wheeler, Kalia Copper, and how about the play of Benijah Laney, one of the best players in this league. The 20-point performances continue to pour in. Rutgers on the map.
And what a great story Laney is. He was more like a defensive role player and has exploded in the last couple of years. Sloot nails it. They had missed their last 7 shots before that one went in.
Really good ball fake there by Sloot.
Time for LA. Wheeler with the miss. The first half comes to a close. LA led by Erica Wheeler with her 13 points with a 9-point cushion at the half.
We're going to a dimension where I always win.
Clank.
PlayStation.
Every road has its challenges. We say, bring them on. Rise to the challenge with the rugged performance of the Honda Passport, Pilot, and CR-V.
Welcome to the WNBA Halftime Report, presented by State Farm.
It's a 9-point lead out in LA as the Sparks are leading the Chicago Sky. Welcome into halftime. The coach, Carolyn Peck, Monica McNutt here with you. Coach, you gotta like the energy that the Sparks have played with, but the Sky look a little confused at points.
Well, let's start out with the LA Sparks. The thing that they have done so well is they've been in attack mode. They don't have the size. We heard LaChina and Pam Ward talk about no Agumake. So if you're smaller, then you've got to find a way to manufacture points. And what do? You get a bite of the paint. So when you come into the paint, defense collapses, you can kick it out to shooters. And then to be relentless on the glass and get your transition game going, getting up and down the floor, and the guards coming off that high ball screen. Erica Wheeler getting in the paint, getting to the line when necessary. And I think that's what's been going well with the LA Sparks.
Erica Wheeler with the snaking off the screen. She's got 13 first half points. Sparks look good, but earlier today, we had a really good basketball game between the Las Vegas Aces and the Washington Mystics. It went a little something like this. Tina Charles is going to get us started early, Coach, going right to the rim.
Well, what Washington started out with doing is making the post players for the Aces have to move. They did not require Tina Charles to just have to guard with her back to, or score with her back to the basket. And Maisha Hines-Allen, I mean, she put on a show. She did it inside and out.
So she was putting on a show, and then Liz Cambage decided she was going to get involved in the show as well.
Well, Liz Cambage has been a show all season long, and it just seems like each game she continues to get better. She is such a force. One of the best centers playing in the WNBA this season.
Cambage had 24 points. You just saw Raquana Williams knock down a three. She was 4 for 6 from 3. Later, though, fourth quarter here, Maisha Hines-Allen, 32 points. She hits a 3 that would cut the deficit to 10 for the Mystics. Ariel Atkins, another 3. The Mystics would cut the lead as tight as 4, Coach. They tied it up on free throws, but then the MVP,
big plays,
does what MVPs do.
Yeah, big
Asia
plays.
Wilson, a huge putback with 47 seconds left to go in the game. Ultimately, the Aces sealed the deal, a 96-93 victory in D.C. But, Coach, these numbers.
Oh, look at that last stat at the bottom. Paint points. They gave up 32 paint points in the first half, but in the second half, they said, it's kind of like McKimbo. Not in my house. They were not allowing any points in the paint. 0 in the second half.
A big-time finger wave, probably with some very fierce nail design. Let's point this out, though. That gap between points in the paint in the first half and the second half is the largest gap in paint points from one half to another in WNBA history, the defense of the Aces.
Well, really, it was a lockdown. First of all, it was the perimeter defense from the guards of putting a lot of pressure. Then when penetration did try to come inside, Liz Cambage, Asia Wilson, and De'Erica Hamby really held it down.
They, were terrific. Now, on the flip side, you got to be pleased with the performance if you're the Washington Mystics, but almost doesn't count.
Well, no, it doesn't, and it's rebounding.
Yeah.
The second chance opportunities, getting on the glass, that's really where the Aces were able to really extend a little bit of that advantage that they had because they were so dominant rebounding.
Yeah, they were I'm bad at math, +7 on the glass, 36-29. All right, in our current action, Courtney Vandersloot doing her best to keep her Chicago Sky squad in the ball game. 5 points, 3 assists for her. Come on back for more halftime.
We're going to a dimension where I always win.
PlayStation.
Every road has its challenges. We say, bring them on. Rise to the challenge with the rugged performance of the Honda Passport, Pilot, and CR-V.
This halftime report is presented by State Farm. When you want the real deal, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Another fantastic week in the W. Let's take you out west for some highlights. Dunking, Coach.
These are not transition dunks. These are dunks that are happening in the half court.
In the dunker's spot. In fact, BG rocking the rim. Not once, two's the next number. So yes, twice this week against different opponents. Dallas got some and Chicago got served too. But the highlights don't stop there. Euro step, half court, game winner. You like this?
Diana Taurasi, what? You got Kia Nurse that can knock down big shots to pull off the win.
The dog pile, and rightfully so. She said that she never makes that shot in practice. So she was surprised that it went there. And then we go to the point guard of this Mercury squad, Skylar Diggins-Smith, who's averaging 19 points, Coach, just incredibly efficient getting to the rim.
Well, it's a luxury that Phoenix has Skylar Diggins without Diana Taurasi because not only is Diggins a scorer, but she can also handle the ball and run the offense for the Mercury.
Now, we are thoroughly impressed with all of these highlights, Coach, but you said something that is key when you think big picture with this team, and that is Diana Taurasi is going to miss some time with an injury. So far, it looks like they figured it out without their star.
They're 3-1 without Diana Taurasi, and I think that a big key to that has got to be Kia Nurse. And since Diana Taurasi has been out with the injury, Nurse has almost doubled her production. Her field goal percentage has gone up as well. I think her opportunities, almost like that sense of accountability, is like, call my number, I'm good, and she's knocking down shots.
And of course, you know, when you got one of the GOATs looking at you from the sideline, you want to rise to the occasion. Erica Wheeler, E-Weezy, she makes it look easy. Her team is up trying to get the W today.
We're going to a a dimension where I always win.
PlayStation.
Every road has its challenges. We say, bring them on. Rise to the challenge with the rugged performance of the Honda Ridgeline, Pilot, and CR-V.
Welcome back to ESPN's coverage of the WNBA presented by Google. Look at the traffic in LA. A lot of people here to see the Sparks take on Chicago. LA leading 40-31 at the half in this third and final matchup during the regular season between these two teams. Pam Ward along with LaChina Robinson. Kim Adams is with us as well. LA has led pretty much for the entire game using their speed.
Yeah, we started this game talking about small ball and Derek Fisher using his smaller lineup, in particular with Nneka Ogwumike and Chiney Ogwumike out. And they've been able to speed up this game. They forced Chicago into some turnovers and got into the open court, but also in the half court. Erica Wheeler and Taya Cooper have just used their speed to blow by Chicago defenders. They've been able to get in the paint at will. I love the discipline of LA's offense today versus some of the earlier games where they were taking a lot of jump shots. This is a team that's built for speed, and they've used it so far in this game.
Combination in the backcourt for this squad. Yes, no. Ogwumike sisters. Candace Parker unable to play for Chicago for the 8th straight game. Chicago trying to break out of a 6-game slide. But a lot of the other players doing well. Chicago only shot 35% from the floor in the first half, but did out-rebound the Sparks. And there's Candace Parker, spent 13 years in the purple and gold of the LA Sparks. We were all anticipating, looking forward to this game, thinking it would be her homecoming. But Candace has been out, hurt her ankle in a shoot-around before their second game of the season. And she told our Kim Adams that as soon as she is ready to go, she will play. But it's coming, the ankle rehab has come along slower certainly than she had anticipated and everyone had hoped. Courtney Vandersloot, just 3 assists and 5 points in the first half. Diamond DeShields was the first member of the Sky to come out from the locker room to get some extra shooting in. And they're going to get her for the offensive foul.
And a change to the starting lineup here in the third quarter. It appears that Allie Quigley will come off of the bench. She did start the ball game. She did have those 3 fouls, but she also may be a little limited in minutes. She and both Azurá Stevens, as both are still working their way back from some previous injuries. So we'll keep our eyes on that for sure.
Quigley, one of the best three-point shooters really in the history of this league, does have a limit on her minutes. James Wade says it's always sort of almost like a metaphorical wrestling match between how much the player wants to play, how much he wants to play her, and how much the training staff thinks she should play.
Well, and he did say, you know, we'll have to kind of play it as it goes along because we're not sure how Allie's going to feel. Like she's still kind of getting out there and, you know, testing out that injury, and sometimes during the course of the game it can feel different than it did when you started.
Shields a little bit too strong from the outside. Zowie B, long three. Offensive board keeps it alive. Dolson only played 4 minutes. Look at that matchup, Dolson against Taya Cooper.
Hey, Stephanie Dolson was moving those feet, though. Give her some credit.
Yep, Cooper didn't even try to blow by her. That was a foul. Come on, Steph. Let's go down now to the third member of our team, Kim Adams.
Thank you, Pam. Well, we do have a report out of the LA locker room. Focuses for the second half. Those include preventing offensive rebounding, and Coach Fisher wants to see his guards and wings get on the glass as well. Defensively, they want to prevent the open threes for Allie Quigley and Courtney Vandersloot. And then offensively, keep that ball moving, keep attacking, and using their speed and athleticism to get to the free throw line, Pam.
Yep, Derek Fisher trying to come up with different ways to score. He talked about how he wanted his team to get younger, play with more pace this season. And right now the officials, that's Roy Golbayan over there, looking to see whether that was a 2 or a 3 attempt. Should be a 2.
They're looking.
And they also want to see if the shot got off before the shot clock expired. It did. You see the shot clock on the far end of the court. So they're going to look at her feet and look at the shot clock. I would say it's a 2, and she did get it off in time.
Yeah.
At the mic.
Bing, bing,
After
bing.
review, the personal foul on Dolson stays. 2 free throws.
All right, Roy Golbayan able to tell us firsthand. Love that new technology that was used in the bubble last year. We are physically here in Los Angeles, so excited.
Yeah.
To be not in a contained room, a couple thousand miles away, but we are up from the court, farther away than usual. There are some fans here. This is the convention center, not playing at the Staples Center, which is very close. This is all part of the LA Live area of downtown.
Well, and the little things for us as broadcasters, obviously being here with the energy of the fans is great, but we get a hard copy box score at halftime. Like, this is what we live for.
Yeah, how important that is.
We don't get these at home.
No. LA trying to beat Chicago for the 3rd time this season. Boy, big time hustle by Wheeler, who has been on the floor, literally on the floor, a lot this afternoon. There's Coach Fisher, Simone Augustus, one of the new assistant coaches. And I look at Wheeler's like, I got this.
She took somebody. Oh, is that Fred Williams? Look at Freddie. Freddie Bass, assistant coach. Legend here on the West Coast. Oh, yeah. He protected that fall, but that's the kind of guy Fred is. He protected Wheeler in that instance. Freddie, one of the best in the business at what he does, has been a head coach in this league and now is an assistant here with Derek Fisher.
Right there to take it. You saw Amanda Zowie-B laughing afterwards, and now DeShield's turn to hit the deck.
Looked like trainer Courtney Watson's over checking on Coach Fred, making sure he's okay.
Yeah, Dr. Courtney Watson, longtime trainer and doctor on this team. Nneka Ogwumike sitting behind. And look at Nneka. Can you see Nneka's pants?
Got to get the glasses right.
Yeah, Fred got to make sure the glasses are right.
Yeah, Nneka's got on some...
Nneka's stylish today.
She is. In addition to the Simone Augustus T-shirts that the LA Sparks are wearing, which is an outstanding design, shows Simone's face as a youngster on the cover of Sports Illustrated.
I still remember when she came out of high school. There's Nneka, unfortunately unable to play. Gosh, they're saying about 4 to 6 weeks with a left knee sprain.
Those pants aren't leather. They're leather pants.
They're very shiny.
They are.
Chene, little sister Chene, also is out, being called week to week with right knee soreness. And Cooper just drew the charge on Dolson.
You have to give LA's defense some credit for how they've chased around screens today and really worked to contain Courtney Vandersloot as well as Allie Quigley when she was in the game. I mean, trying to keep those two from moving around on the court is one of the biggest keys to defending Chicago.
They have combined for 11 points. Quigley, though, with just 1 3 and just 3 assists for Vandersloot. Nazare Stevens working her way back into the lineup as well. When she's not on the court, she's been over there on a stationary bike behind the bench trying to stay warm. Dolson posting up hard, and then Zowie-B comes in to force another turnover.
You see the change defensively by Chicago. They forced Erica Wheeler to pass it out, didn't let her get to the cup, and that's where LA is going to have to hit some shots.
Tolliver using a variety of moves to get around Vandersloot, but couldn't finish.
Yeah, Tolliver has been off. She hit that first shot, but since then has not been able to buy a bucket. And keeping in mind, she did not play for 19 months after that 2019 championship in D.C. Took last season off. That's a long time to be away from the game of basketball.
Yep, still doing some coaching, but not playing on the floor. Christie has missed 6 of her 7 shots. The Sparks as a team have missed all 5 of their shots here in this quarter. That's a foul on Azurá Stevens.
So a couple of turnovers really for Chicago on the screens.
Let's take a look at the upcoming WNBA national TV schedule. Coming up on CBS Sports Network Tuesday, it's Dallas at Phoenix at 10 Eastern, then Wednesday, Indy at Chicago at 8 Eastern. For more on these games, go to WNBA.com. Visit the WNBA app.
That's some sloppy basketball by both teams here to start this third quarter.
Yes, not exactly a thing of beauty. Chicago has yet to score in this quarter. Actually, neither team. It was just 1 point for LA, 2 points for Chicago, pardon me, in this quarter. Another hard foul. Tolliver really frustrated as she walks away from the floor.
And you had to foul Hebert because she was going to get a layup, but I don't know. Coffey was coming over with some really nice help. Sometimes you have to trust that help defense on the backside because Coffey was on the way.
The 4th foul on Christie Tolliver. I'm thinking of turnovers because we've seen 6 turnovers in this quarter. No one has hit a shot from the floor from either side. Tolliver sits down with the 4 personals.
But it says a lot for this Sparks team that Nneka Ogwumike is out. Christie Tolliver has not had her best afternoon, and yet this team still has a lead. They're growing up, I mean, and finding their rhythm as a younger unit playing together.
That's something that Coach Fisher was making a concerted effort, but so many, adjustments. First off, when you're missing those 2 women on the left, Jasmine Walker hurt her knee. Badeva out indefinitely. They do expect her back when she's finished with her overseas commitments. Hebert gets the Wheeler miss, and then Wheeler fouls.
And they've changed the way they're playing Erica Wheeler on those drives. They're sending a body to help. They're contesting her at the rim. And this is the next level for Wheeler. When she can't blow by, finding that playmaking ability. You know, knowing how to keep the ball moving now that she's drawing an extra defender and where to get it.
Vandersloot. Now Sykes comes up with the rebound.
Inside.
12 seconds left on the shot clock.
Give it to inside. Zip 1. Zip 2.
Coffey bailed him out. And then Team Lefty missed it.
Smarty.
Hebert bottled up, able to get the shot off.
Good contest by Zowie B.
Yeah, she's had a really good game today.
Her defensive activity may not even show up on the stat sheet in its entirety, but she has covered up a lot of shots and deflected some shots and altered some shots.
Hebert just picked up her 3rd. Zowie B, 6 points, 6 rebounds, and had 3 blocks at the half. But you're right, just making all those other plays with the deflections. Cooper trying to get some points at the free throw line. LA is a team 0 for 8 from the field in the third quarter. They have scored 1 point in 4.5 minutes.
And again, you have to credit some of the changes to how Chicago is guarding the drive, really forcing LA to become more playmakers. And this is where they can test that chemistry that they're trying to develop, as Derek Fisher mentioned before the game, making the extra pass.
Sloot. Boy, that's a good look. Cooper bottled up by DeShields. And then the tough bucket for Taya Cooper, giving a little fist bump afterwards. Cooper tying Wheeler now with the team lead, 13 points. That was the first field goal for LA since the second quarter.
Ooh, that's a good bucket there by Copper, and great pass. You know, I think Chicago Sky's offense often hinges on the ability of Copper and DeShields to hit jump shots. And that hasn't been consistent this year, but when it's on, it's a huge asset for them.
Holmes missed everything. Teams that rely on jump shots can go into droughts at times. Azare Stevens bumped on the outside by Holmes.
LA still got some speed in the bag, even though the offense is slowed down. Taya Cooper on the attack.
The WNBA on ABC is presented by Google, official WNBA changemaker and proud advocate of women in sports.
We're going to a dimension where I always win.
PlayStation.
Every road has its challenges. We say, bring them on. Rise to the challenge with the rugged performance of the Honda Ridgeline, Pilot, and CR-V.
Back in LA, Candace Parker not able to play today again because of the hurt ankle, but she's active in other ways.
Oh yeah, I mean, CP3 does it all. She's coaching here, Azare Stevens, letting her know where she needs to be, and then there's part B of her job, and that's ball girl. So right here, Candace Parker lets the officials know, hey, we got some water. We need to clean that up. Get on that.
Yeah, it looked like Azare was telling her that she slipped over there, and right away Parker took care of it. Again, this is her homecoming, 13 years to begin her career in Los Angeles. Unable to play, unfortunately, because of the ankle injury, and she has been really active over there on the bench. Not active enough and healthy enough to play, but certainly active enough to prowl the sidelines a little bit. And it looks like she's Azare Stevens' personal coach.
You better believe she wants to get out there. But one thing she told us at the beginning of the season was that as the years have gone on, she knows her body. She said, I know when to push and when I need to rest. And, you know, she's had multiple knee surgeries, 6, in fact, I think. Has had a bumped shoulder over time, and so she knows about injury and recovery, and she'll get back out there when she feels like her body can do it, but she wants to extend her career, so she has to be smart.
Sykes just picked up her 3rd foul, and we have to remember that Candace Parker is 35 years of age, and you're right, she has had a significant problem, probably has been playing on knees that hurt her every single day, has had the shoulder issues and now the ankle, and just better be smart, right, for the long haul.
Yeah. This team will need her, but they're getting better. That's the silver lining, is everyone for the Sky is having to pick up with no Candace Parker.
Wheeler just decides to shoot it over. He heard it. It goes in for 3.
And And that's when she's dangerous, because she can take you off the bounce, and when you sag off of her and you anticipate the drive, she'll knock down the three.
It's like just when you think you're safe, you're not. Wheeler leading everybody now with 16 points and another foul on this end.
You have to anticipate that speed. She burns you with it in the first half, so you give her some space. If you're Ruthie Hebert, that's a lower percentage shot than it is off of the bounce, but today, everything going in for Erica Wheeler.
16 points. That is one off her season high, which she had against Chicago earlier this year. Copper at the free throw line after Zowie B picked up her third personal foul. Kalia Copper at the free throw line. Kim Adams has more on her.
Yeah, Pam, Kalia Copper had an unusual offseason. She normally goes overseas, but this past offseason, she took an assistant coaching job at Purdue Northwest, a Division II school in Indiana, and she was in a player development role handling the scouting reports. And I talked to her and she said, this has made me more vocal, more of a leader. I see the game differently. I'm understanding who needs to be where in different situations, and she even said it's made her appreciate her own coaching staff more, because she's seen how much work goes into those scouting reports. There she is again. And Coach Wade said he noticed a difference as well, just in terms of the questions she asks, and that she seems to be one step ahead of where she was last season.
Yeah, I mean, you see it coming together. She came into this league as an elite athlete, but she's adding the skill and now adding even more basketball IQ, layers of that onto her game. You just can't talk enough about the improvements that Copper has made over the years.
She's got 8 points in this quarter.
Yeah, I mean, right here, taking Brittany Sykes right to the rim. And then how about the use of the glass off of that? I don't even know how she found that angle.
LA has only scored 7 points in this quarter. Their 11-point lead is evaporating.
Chicago just chipping away, and right here on the switch, we mentioned how good Ruthie Hebert is in ball screen action, has a smaller defender on her, and gets that one to go.
Now on Taya Cooper. Hebert can't complete the three-point play, but it's a two-point ball game. LA missing shots left and right. There were no purple jerseys even inside the three-point lane or line. Vandersloot has tied it up.
Chicago has forced LA to become a jump shooting team in this second half, and it's been a game changer.
8-0 run has tied things up. LA has missed 12 of its 14 shots, and they just turned it over. 12 of their 14 here in the third quarter. Now Chicago trying to take a lead for the first time since early in this game. Zowie B with the rejection, but Hebert able to keep it alive. Quigley. And looks like they're going to get a foul on Chicago to bring it back.
That might have been a 3-second call.
Actually, I just see a technical foul on Copper, according to the stat monitor, but let's double check. All right, let's just check that. Just a foul on Copper. Wow. Yep, it was indeed just a standard foul on Copper, her second. Quigley, as the shot clock goes into single digits. Hebert gives Chicago its first lead since it was 4-3. Vandersloot took it away, and then Zowie B saying that it was not off of her, but they're going to, Roy Goldban and Amy Bonner talk, they're going to keep it with Chicago.
When you take the turnovers and points off turnovers away from LA, how can they manufacture their offense? In the first half, it was on drives, and now that that's been taken away, they're struggling in their half court. And this is the next level of growth, because teams aren't going to let you just, they're not going to always make those mistakes and turn it over. Then they're going to take away your drives.
Totally different story in the third quarter.
They got to get some ball reversal and get the defense to shift.
Boy, if that's on quickly, that's 4. It is, and it is. Zowie B goes out for LA. Holmes and Coffey now. He's applying the height. Here's Coffey, little turnaround. Team hits. Boy, did they need that shot. It ends the drought. Shot clock is off for Chicago in a tie ball game. Dana Evans, a little bit too strong. Holmes to Sykes, they need to push it. I think Brittany Sykes is going to take it. Over Quigley. Third quarter in the books, all tied up at 49.
Third quarter started off slow, but the Chicago Sky making a push behind Kalia Copper. An answer here from Erica Wheeler, but Ruthie Hebert in the interior game of Chicago showing up.
Every road has its challenges. We say, bring them on. Rise to the challenge with the rugged performance of the Honda Ridgeline, Pilot, and CR-V.
NBA playoffs party packs from Taco Bell are here. A DoorDash exclusive, flavor all-inclusive. The new game day cravings with basketball savings. Only DoorDash brings you more. NBA playoffs party packs from Taco Bell straight to your door.
Welcome back to ESPN's coverage of the WNBA presented by Google. I am joined by Erica Wheeler. And Erica, we've seen the Sky storm back in this third quarter. What do you guys have to get back to defensively to limit them again?
We just got to crowd the ball. I think they're getting easy lane line drives, and we're not helping. You know, once 2 is on the ball, the opposite side needs to rotate in the nail area and just crowd the paint. So that's where all their points is coming from.
And offensively, a tough shooting quarter for you guys. What can you adjust to generate some better looks in this final quarter?
Pace and feel. We just need to move the ball. I don't think we're moving the ball. Caught myself a couple of times holding the ball, just trying to, see what the defense is giving me. But we just need to move the ball and then trust our shots.
All right, thank you so much for the time, Erica.
All right, thank you guys.
So in that third quarter, LA missed 15 of their 18 shots. That was Kim Adams, Pam Ward, along with LaChana Robinson in Los Angeles. LA had an 11-point lead. Now we're tied. What can we expect here in the fourth?
Well, a couple things. Number one, LA has gotten themselves into this position after a halftime lead because, as Erica Wheeler mentioned, they're not moving the ball. They're sticking with isolation ball when Chicago has clearly made adjustments to cover up looks from the perimeter and to take away those drives on the inside. And on the flip side of that, Chicago's got to continue to take care of the basketball. I mean, they are a team that when they're not turning it over, they're pretty good. And they've also, as I mentioned, they've guarded the drive well.
And the LA offense this season has not been a thing of beauty, but averaging 73.5 points per game, as you see. But today, just 49 points, field goal percentage way down. Really crushed by 3 of 18 in the third quarter. No Nneka Ogwumike, no Chiney Ogwumike. So things very different for them. But Chicago really able to change things up in the third quarter. Actually had the lead for a while.
And Christy Tolliver is checking back into the game. She had those 4 personal fouls, but has also struggled from the field. You have to credit Chicago and how DeShields and Copper have covered her up. But this is what she came to LA for. This is the kind of situation where they need her leadership and her experience to guide this young team.
Tolliver's second stop in Los Angeles after going back to Washington. where she won a championship, but Tolliver, a little bit frustrating day for Christie. Just 1 of 7 from the floor, picked up 4 fouls. But that one shot she hit was from a long way away. Vandersloot and Holmes gonna jump for it. Holmes tips it over to Sykes. Almost lost it. Here's Tolliver, guarded by DeShields. Coffey with that little fadeaway, missed everything. Our next WNBA game on ESPN2 and the app coming your way Tuesday, June 15th, when this Chicago squad goes into Minnesota to take on the Lynx at 9 Eastern Time, ESPN2. Check it out on the app as well as ESPN2.
It seems like there's been so much more player movement this year, especially with injuries, and Lasia Clarendon's addition to the Minnesota Lynx roster could be a game changer for that team with her leadership, and has looked really good gelling with them in the time she's been there.
Yeah, boy, her first game she made an impact.
Hey, come on.
And I read where they were putting in plays, and Cheryl Reeves said a play, and Lasia's like, I don't know what that is. But she went out there and really helped. It was pivotal in their victory.
Man, that basket would have counted. She hit one that would have been in the heave category, adding to the list.
Had quite a few this year already, and we're only in early June.
That's a tough bucket right there by Bria Holmes, but cannot get it to go. Again, LA's got to work deeper into the clock. They're getting really impatient with their offensive looks. And there's the switching defense by LA. Ruthie Hebert's got Tolliver on her.
And wants the ball because of the mismatch, gets it and wins. Chicago by 3. That is their biggest lead. LA has had 2 11-point leads disappear. Coffey, that's a nice drive.
And this is a position that Nia Coffey had not been in previously in her career. I mean, she's shooting the ball well from the field, so she's going to get looks and shots at this juncture of the game.
And then the 3 from Duvall. Gets a hug as it leads up to 4. A timeout in LA.
The WNBA on ABC is presented by Google, official WNBA changemaker and proud advocate of women in sports. In part by Gatorade Zero, all the electrolytes, zero sugar. And AT&T 5G, fast, reliable, and secure.
Every road has its challenges. We say, bring them on. Rise to the challenge with the rugged performance of the Honda Passport, Pilot, and CR-V.
It is time for today's Did You Know, presented by Google. For today's search, we want to know what 3 basketball players won MVP, Finals MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, and Rookie of the Year. There are 3 individuals who did that. We will have the answer shortly. I know one of them, because she's always the answer, I think.
According to the Pam playbook.
According to me.
I know all 3.
Of course you do. You're smarter than me.
But I don't think I can say it right now.
No, we'll give the people a chance.
Okay, we'll give them a chance.
And then we'll get back to you on our Did You Know, presented by Google. Hey, did you know that Chicago's come back from an 11-point deficit to take a 4-point lead over LA, trying to break a 6-game losing streak. Zowie B. She's been a good answer all afternoon for LA. Eight points, 7 rebounds. Coffee coming up with the board and a chance for LA.
You see,
at least tie.
LA bought 2 players to Vandersloot to make her give up the basketball there.
Sykes has been pretty quiet today. Hebert able to get rid of it before she took steps.
Yeah, Hebert has been a factor on the inside, which is what we expected coming in with LA playing small ball.
Really, Coffee is one of their only post players. Nice slice for Copper.
And great read by Kalia Copper. She had the big Amanda Zowie B switched out on her, uses her quickness, and gets to the cup.
Erica Wheeler with 16, Taya Cooper with 13 to lead the way for LA, but
once
that would
be. I mean, her ability to just play at her own pace and use ball fakes around the rim, anticipating blocks, has been fantastic.
Quickly a little bit too strong. Wheeler comes up with it. So we need the 3rd spark in double figures, and she scores again. Ties the game up at 57. Quigley working hard to free herself from Tolliver, who's stuck. Wheeler knocked it out, 7 seconds to shoot.
May have been Quigley they were trying to get the ball out of the hands of on that wing last time.
Did you know question presented by Google? Here's the answer. Of course, Tamika Catchings, but Candace Parker and Michael Jordan, the players to win MVP, Finals MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, and Rookie of the Year. 3 of the all-time greats.
And there's a good discussion to be had because there's 2 ends of the floor. Can you truly be the greatest of all time if you don't have high-level defensive accolades? And I already know, Pam, that's your argument that Tamika Catchings is the greatest player to ever play.
The greatest all-around player because of the defense. She's 5-time Defensive Player of the Year.
Okay, we got it.
Awesome human being. And should have been MVP more than once. Coffee with the drive. LA's offense coming alive again. I wonder what Derek Fisher says, that their offense still coming around, players getting used to each other. Noah Grumake is on the floor. Quigley coming back from that hamstring, still not quite herself, has missed 6 of 8 shots today. Cooper thought about it.
That's temptation. I think that's one you got to move the ball and get it to Zowie B. I mean, she's done a nice job on the inside. At least let her touch it.
Yeah. She's been the best option here in this run as LA has come back to take the lead. DeShields just drew a foul on Zowie B.
And LA's been better when they touch the paint. Bottom line. I mean, they've got to be disciplined enough to not take shots until the ball touches the paint in some way.
Diamond DeShields at the free throw line. It's 3 points here in the second half for Diamond.
We had a great conversation with Diamond leading into her first game of the season, and she is so happy to be healthy and back on the court. She's worked extremely hard in the offseason, and it hasn't all paid off quite yet, but it will. I mean, you see what she's capable of in terms of her athleticism and skill. She's just still figuring it out, you know, as a young player in this league, but has a tremendous upside and a lot of star power.
4th year in the league. Dolson with the defense. Wheeler tried to challenge her, but then Coffee saved it for LA. Tolliver with the floater. Throws her hands up like it's about time.
Again, ball in the paint.
Oliver's first made bucket since her long three way back in the first quarter. Tough shot for Quigley, rims out.
Quigley's been right there on a few buckets and just can't get him to go. Oliver indecisive there, turns the ball over for LA, but right here, hesitation move, paint touch, floater.
Rips in all my jeans, Jordan 3, candy green.
Our lesson.
Every road has its challenges. We say, bring them on. Rise to the challenge with the rugged performance of the Honda Ridgeline, Pilot, and CR-V.
It is time for today's Power Moments presented by Beats.
Well, if LA wants to win this game, they have to do more of this on offense. Collapse Chicago's defense by getting a touch in the paint. Christy Tolliver might have got away with 3 seconds there, but finds the pass out to Nia Coffey, who attacks the closeout and gets right to the rim. Not as efficient as Coffey has been shooting this year, but you see the numbers, and it doesn't tell the story of just how she's able to change the game defensively as well with some of her activity in the absence of Nneka Ogwumike.
Neither Nneka nor Chiney available. It's an 8-1 LA run that has given them this 3-point lead over Chicago. DeShields bothered by Zowie B, who has been all over it.
And that's the part of Amanda Zowie B's game that you underestimate. She can switch out onto a guard and continue.
There she just switched back over to DeShields and got a hand on the shot.
DeShields not happy, wanted a call on that last shot.
Shot clock getting really skinny now. Inside 5 seconds for Zowie B. They need a shot. Wheeler.
LA taking too long for their offense to develop there.
Dolson got it blocked by Coffey. Wheeler looking for help. Dolson late and joining the play. Penny Dolson flexing her left wrist after she hit the deck.
Nia Coffey had 6 blocks against Dallas and is averaging over 2 a game on the season. I mean, that is just impeccable timing.
Hey, come on, man. I'm driving. I wouldn't go across. You went right down.
And vertical as well, Pam.
Timeout. We're going to keep it here as Dolson goes over to the bench with her teammates. We have game 1 of the NBA Eastern Conference semifinals between the Hawks and the Sixers at 1 Eastern on ABC and the ESPN app. And game 7 between the Mavs and the Clippers. Right here at Staples Center, Mark Kestisher and John Barry have the ESPN radio call of that one.
You didn't say anything about the Atlanta Hawks,
Trey.
My home team. Ice Trey.
I'm a big fan of Trae Young. We've seen him when we would go down to Atlanta to do Dream Games.
Yeah.
He was there all the time.
Great guy, and has found his way in this league despite a lot of doubters.
Yep. And one thing, well, like, I've seen him in person, saw him play on TV, but if you were to pass Trae Young maybe on the street, you would never think that he was an NBA player, right? He's very slight, but my goodness, can he play basketball.
Speaking of playing basketball, Amanda Zowie B has come through in this 4th quarter where LA has needed a spark. Now back in the lineup after missing a couple games with a back injury. You see the versatility, the finesse on the jump shot. She can finish inside, has been patient in picking her spots to be effective. She's running the floor, just a good finisher. I mean, we're talking about a player that has all-star potential, and I would not be surprised if she does not get there very soon.
6 of her 12 points coming here in the 4th quarter. You see she's got the double-double, the 4 blocks, and several deflections. She's really taking her game to a whole new level now in her 7th year out of Minnesota. LA with a 3-point lead and the ball. Trying to sweep this 3-game series from Chicago.
Kalia Copper draped all over Christy Tolliver.
Zowie B. Tolliver slaps it to keep it with LA. Now Wheeler going down the lane with a huge bucket. Wheeler with 18, that's a new season high. Copper can't answer. Wheeler comes up with it as we hit a minute to go in the 4th quarter.
I would have loved to see Chicago get a touch inside somehow and get the ball to come back out in rotation.
And Sky's offense has gone dormant, only 1 point in the last 5 minutes. And now Wheeler, that might have been the dagger. The Grumake sisters, the first to say, way to go, Erica Wheeler.
Erica Wheeler came to the Los Angeles Sparks because she knew there was an opportunity for her to do this. Be the go-to player late in games, be relied on to get this team over the hump. And she has done that here down the stretch.
And we have had Erica Wheeler wearing a mic, and she's been feisty, and she's been talking.
Hey, be patient. Be patient on it. Hey, well, you get what I'm saying? When you pushing the transition, you're going too deep. If you don't see nothing, call it out. Balance, good balance, baby. It's good.
And take a look at Erica Wheeler's shots here today. Good balance, was able to get to the rim early, hit a couple threes, or hit a 3 that loosened things up for her again. But it's about timing for this LA Sparks offense. And when they can't score off turnovers and when they need a go-to player, they're still trying to figure out who that is and when it needs to happen. And Wheeler just took over. She and Amanda Zowie B down the stretch.
Sky have been outscored 12-1 during this latest run. Chicago has missed its last 7 shots from the floor.
I got quick. No? Oh, yeah, you want her?
Oh, was Zowie B saying, get the ball to me?
I didn't hear that.
Give it to me. I think that would be a good option. Right now, well, they're looking for a stop. See the big run over the last 5 minutes.
Let's see if Chicago can get Quigley a look. Oh. Looks like things have broken down. But Diamond DeShields. Wow.
That's their first field goal in over 5 minutes.
That is a huge bucket. Before that shot, Diamond DeShields had not hit a 3 in this game. So you kind of guard her for the drive. And hits a timely and much needed basket there. You mentioned, Pam, she was out at halftime before the team got back out here taking shots.
Wheeler at the free throw line. We're getting fouled by Vandersloot. Erica, an excellent free throw shooter, 86% on the season coming into today.
Get in there, girl.
And is perfect.
Fucking go, man.
7 for 7. A little quick 20-second timeout. We'll keep it here. Erica Wheeler. 22 points now.
And don't forget that Erica Wheeler also missed last season due to COVID issues. You know, she tested positive for COVID before the season and was just unable to get cleared medically to get back on the court. So she was missing the game, having to find ways to live out her passion for it, then you can see that she's happy to be back out on the court. An unfortunate situation and circumstance for her, but she's making the best of it now.
Erica Wheeler leading all scorers with 22, one of 4 in double figures for LA. Holding on to the 6-point lead with just over 30 seconds left to go. After this game, LA is going to go to Washington and then Minnesota before coming home to play Phoenix here in back-to-back games. Right now concentrating on closing this out against the Sky. Quigley bumped by Coffey.
Really good take there by Allie Quigley. Draws the contact. Some handoff action here with Sluting and Quigley. Yep, Coffey does not get to the spot. Didn't trust her help defense there. I thought Amanda Zowie may have come over and try to help there defensively.
Allie Quigley has not scored in the second half. So the free throw. Quigley, another story. This is another player who kind of bounced around a little bit. 4 teams in 4 years before finding a home with Chicago. Didn't play at all for 1 season. Has been a really reliable pro coming home to her hometown of Chicago. Gets it to within 4 with just under 23 seconds left. See, Chicago has 1 timeout remaining, as does LA. So Stephanie Dolson among those who are on the U.S. women's team that is qualified for the Olympic 3-on-3 club that will get things going in Tokyo later. The men did not qualify. Connecticut Sun, are they the best team in the East? They are record-wise right now. It's 7-2. Jonquil Jones is balling it a little bit.
Oh, man, she's having an MVP season, returning to the Sun this year. Really a player like no other. The way that she can, not only her versatility on offense, but what she does on the defensive end as well.
And Noelle Quinn, we had the honor of doing her first game, calling her first game as the head coach. Younger than Sue Bird, younger than Candace Dupree. And Dan Hughes, boy, we certainly wish him a very happy post-WNBA career. He will be on the bench with Dawn Staley for the U.S. Women's Olympic team in Tokyo in the summer.
Yeah, he has had a Hall of Fame career, 19 seasons.
And a quality human being. A lot of his former coaches are out there, including James Wade here, who spent 5 years in San Antonio with Coach Hughes.
And James Wade wanted to travel there on Erica Wheeler. I'm assuming the officials deemed that Wheeler did not have control of the basketball.
Talking to Tim Green, the closest official. Now we be at the line. Timeout. Chicago takes its final timeout. They are 17 seconds away from losing what would be their 7th straight game. After this, they have back-to-back games against Indiana, a team that has struggled. Courtney Vandersloot getting ready to inbound the ball. They advance it after the timeout. But just a little over 17 seconds left to go. Quigley, Coffey came out on her. Vandersloot airballs it. And Chicago's frustrations continue. We're a team with high expectations with Candace Parker coming over in the offseason. Candace has been hurt, missed her 8th straight game, and they're about to lose their 7th in a row as LA takes it 68-63. Erica Wheeler with a new season high 22 points, 15 for Copper on the other side, but not enough. As Chicago falls by the final of 68-63. For LaChina Robinson and Kim Adams, I'm Pam Ward. Thanks to all of our crew. As the Sparks can walk off the court, they've swept all 3 games from Chicago during the regular season.